Assalamu alaikum. This is Dr. Aisha with Menara Counseling, and today we're going to talk about the loop and how to break it. So a lot of times whenever clients come to me, it's because they feel stuck in a cycle, in a loop, in a rut, where the same things in their life keep happening again and again and again, and they're not exactly sure where to even get started. So this is exactly what this video is going to address. It's short, but there's a lot of information packed in here. And so there will be two parts. One is to introduce us to what the loop is and then how to break it exactly. So to get started, let's examine the parts and pieces of the loop. So the first part is thoughts. The second is emotions or sensations. The third is behaviors. And the fourth is relief or reward. So what happens is we have a cycle or a loop of all four of these things happening again and again, and we're not sure exactly where to intervene. And the issue is a lot of therapists or coaches also aren't clear on exactly where clients need to interrupt the cycle in order to make things better. And we'll talk exactly about that in a moment. So to go ahead and get started, let's talk about thoughts. Thoughts, as we know, are inner experiences. They are not outer experiences. They are all inner. They can be helpful. They can be unhelpful. They can be automatic due to deep-rooted core beliefs. They can feel intrusive. They can feel like they're just passing. They can be racing. They can be seemingly non-existent. Okay, sometimes people are like, I have no thoughts, Aisha. Okay, so it can be so many different experiences for individuals. Usually, whenever we have thoughts, it's because the body thinks, I need to do something. The executive center of our brain is trying to sort things out. But whenever we're in this loop, we don't start with thoughts, and I'll tell you exactly why. And that is because it is very, very hard to reframe thoughts if we're overwhelmed. If we're feeling, for example, a lot of anger, okay, we're not going to be in touch with our thoughts enough that we can do anything to change it at the moment. All right, so this will make sense a little bit more coming up. So the second part that we want to talk about is emotions or sensations. And this is exactly, my friends, where we're going to start to interrupt this loop. Now, emotions and sensations are, well, let's start with emotions. Those are the things that we have in our mind, okay? Joy, anger, sadness, guilt, fear, anger, etc. Whatever one of those you can insert there, those are emotions. And those are the things that usually push us to motion, push us to action. I think of them as our friends. I think of sensations as our friends as well. Now, what's the difference? Sensations are the things that we feel. Like we literally feel that in our body, right? That can be squeezing. It can be a fast heart rate. It can be pressure. It can be numbness. It can be tingling. It can be kind of paralysis sometimes. It can produce psychomotor sensations and behaviors like non-epileptic seizures. It can look like a lot of different things. Now, both emotions and sensations are, I believe, helpful. Okay, they're helpful as informants. They are our friends. Yes, they are our friends. We're going to think of them that way as our friends, and they tell us what's happening. Right? They don't always give us the right picture, and they don't always tell us what we actually need to do because they are unhelpful as deciders of behaviors. We do not want to rely on our emotions or our sensations to exactly decide what we need to do. But they do come up to help us self-preserve because they are based on real or perceived threats to something in our world or in our mind. Okay? And it can feel very real. Even if it's not really happening, it can feel very real. That threat, for example, fear. Sometimes when someone is on an elevator, the fear of the elevator can feel so real that she really believes that she'll probably die. That is so much that she literally feels paralyzed, in her steps. Okay. Now the thing is that Reliance on these emotions or sensations can prohibit or inhibit self-growth and appropriate behaviors. So we never want to say, this is just how I feel, and so this is what I need to do. No, that usually does not go right for us. And so this is exactly where we need to start in order to interrupt this loop. Now, the third part of the loop is behaviors. These are the things that we do. These are the outer experiences, like all the inner gets manifested outer. Okay, and that can take us toward or away from well-being. Okay, and again, usually behaviors are for self-preservation, but we do not start here. We don't try to alter our behavior right away. So the next part is relief or reward. Relief or reward is usually short-term, short-lived. It can enforce and reinforce the loop. It often increases our dependence on particular emotions, particular thoughts, particular sensations, and that in turn develops rules of living, things that we need to have in place in order for us to feel good, to do good, and to feel like we're having a good life. The need and reliance upon the wrong kinds of relief or the wrong kinds of reward or for the wrong reasons can inhibit and prohibit self-growth and resilience. Okay, so if we absolutely must have that feeling, that relief, in order to still have healthy thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, then that's usually where we're in trouble. Okay, that's a big dependence that we must break. And as a result of relief and rewards that might come by way of different behaviors that we do, it can trigger an entirely different loop or restart this loop. And it can be in a slightly different way as well. And it can deepen that spiral. All right. So this is a brief overview of the parts and pieces, meaning thoughts, emotions, sensations, behaviors, and relief and reward. Now, coming up in the next video, we are going to have a closer look at emotions and sensations and what exactly we need to do with those so that we can have healthier behaviors. And so that will tell us exactly what needs to happen in order to manage ourselves and to manage this loop in a more mindful, positive, productive, and resilient manner. All right, I will see you there.